Hello, Governor. And welcome to We Are Live. I'm Travis Terrell.
I'm Jada Foster.
You go first.
Justin waits here because Carlie doesn't want to go first.
And I'm Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, thanks.
I want to get away.
What?
The song
Oh,
by
yeah.
Lenny Kravitz.
Can we
Yeah,
tell a
totally.
story about that?
Before we do, let's first introduce the show. This is We Are Live podcast, uncensored podcast, live from the Hampton studios today. It's Justin, Carlie, Jada, and Travis. All the other adults in the room have decided to leave and just leave us to our own devices. This should be very interesting. We have so much to get into today on the lovely We Are Live pod. But it sounds like first that we need to give shout out to our sponsors. And that, of course, is Presence Float Center. Use the promo code WAL for, guess what that's for, guys? We Are Live.
Really?
No, yeah, that
Get
or
your float on.
losers are losers. Get your float on. So make sure you guys go out and support them, especially those here in the St. Louis area. Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Great. How are you?
Very good. Now, Jada, you were going to start off with a fun story about Lenny Kravitz. I really hope it ends with you orgasming to Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, no, nothing like
I
that.
don't know if I'm going to like the story then.
In so my freshman year of high school, or maybe before that. No, he didn't. He didn't. I took my mom's car and I wrecked it, and I got in some trouble. And my mother tried to ground me for a month. And I would jump on the couch in the house and sing Lenny Kravitz, I want to get away and I want to fly away.
Right.
And my brother and sister were like, Mom and Dad, please, like, let her go. Just get her out of the house, because it was getting so obnoxious and angry. But it was reoccurring. So I was grounded for maybe like a week and a half after that little
that brings
stunt.
me to a great point. Why don't most white parents just whoop your damn ass?
I got my ass whooped all the time when I was a kid.
Did you?
I got beatings like I was a Mike Tyson sparring partner with my old man. I love him. He's a good man now. But back in the day,
This got dark quickly.
he rained fists on me when it was just when I spouted off.
Right.
When I was a bad kid. Otherwise, we were playing catch all the time, going to baseball games, all that good shit.
So,
But when I was bad, I got an ass whooping.
I got my fair share of spankings growing up. When I would go, I went to
I went a little too far, I guess.
elementary school in Afton, which is out, and of course here in St. Louis, South County. And when my new friends who were white would tell me that they would get grounded, I was absolutely mystified, because first off, I didn't know what grounded was. I didn't know what that entailed. And so when they told me, I go, so nothing happens then.
You just sit in your room and play video
That's
games.
what I was like. I don't understand the punishment aspect of it. Did you get punished growing up, Carlie?
no,
You just did whatever the hell you wanted, huh?
kind of. I didn't do anything bad.
You were a good kid.
Yeah,
You're telling me
I
right
can
here,
see
right
you
now.
being a good
You told me
kid.
Carlie Lawrence,
You know.
who's generally out to 6 in the morning eating steak and shake after a concert, had no issues growing up as a kid.
No, I only got spanked one time.
And that was it? And you were right
When
after
I was
that?
like young, I was like 5. I feel like that's the only time I got spanked.
My two brothers, they never got one hand put on them.
Really? Are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, I'm the only child, so they're not gonna beat the shit out of their only kid. You know what I mean? They only got one.
Maybe.
So,
I got slapped in the mouth a couple times.
Did you
my
not?
mom
Oh,
one
yeah.
time asked me to eat soap, so then I was like licking a bar
Oh,
of
I've done
soap,
that. I've
being
done that.
petty as hell, and
Yeah.
she got mad at me.
Yeah, and I've got backhands by my mom with rings on their fingers.
Ooh,
Yeah,
buddy.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and she got a brand new car. 7th grade. No, it was 7 years old. Had a stomach issue. Was getting ready to throw up at a stoplight. It comes up in my mouth, and she goes, "Swallow it."
Shut up.
Yeah.
I threw up in Chris's car one time. I took off my snapback and threw up into my hat.
Oh my
It was
god.
literally like
What was
60
his reaction? Like,
He was like, I was in the back seat, and he's like, "Oh shit, do you need me to pull over?" Because I had a
Did it just happen so
snapback
fast
puke.
that you just felt
It was when
like
Dylan
you-
Palladino was in town.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
You puked.
I was in the back seat. I was like, "Chris, I just puked. Can you pull over?" Then
Fling your...
I frisbeed the snapback out of the.
You got rid of the hat entirely.
It was a cheap hat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
as you know, my folks had that old school mentality.
I think,
so.
and here's the thing I've
Swallow
noticed
it.
about that is that I don't know if it's a generational thing. I think it is at this point, because when I worked with kids at a local high school here in St. Louis, I don't think any of them got any physical punishments.
You're
I think
saying
that's.
these days they don't get the shit
I don't think
out of
these days. I don't think kids get spankings
I don't think so
whatsoever.
either.
I mean, I'm not. I mean, look, parenting is parenting, and I know we can go into the whole psycho mass of how maybe spanking a kid at a young age isn't the best thing for them when they become an adult, and that may be an episode for another day. But I know well enough that I think this current generation does not experience spankings
Right.
on the same level as maybe we did as kids.
No.
Yeah, when I was bad, like my folks went to mass every Sunday.
Yeah.
And when I was bad, we had a hardwood floor in our dining room. My mom would roll the carpet back and make me kneel for an hour
Wow.
on the hardwood floor.
Ow.
Yeah, like I have great parents.
Most people, but I think-
I was a bad kid.
No, and I think if
No,
you
I'm going to push back on that.
Well, here's why I would. We can actually on that, but I'll circle back as to how I think the most religious homes probably had the most physical punishment.
Yeah.
Oh, for
I would
sure.
venture to guess. I like again. I think what Justin's saying speaks to how I grew up, where it wasn't a matter of my parents rolling out of bed spanking kids.
No,
it
yeah,
was
no,
a matter
yeah.
of, oh, you just flicked me off in front of
Yeah.
these people at school. Wait till we get home, knowing good and well that when we got home, it was going to probably be lights out.
Yeah, I did shit like we'd be at a mall and we'd be on the second floor and I'd have a cup of ice and I would
Little
take pieces of
asshole.
ice. And
Yeah,
I would,
that sounds
and my
like
mom
Justin
would
was
like,
just an
"What the
ass."
hell are you doing?"
Yeah, that
And-
would be
yeah.
grounds for me to probably toss you over said balcony. Now, Jada, you're going to kick back on this because I know you were going to. And I'm
okay.
not knocking you for doing that, but I know you have probably more, because of your psychological background, you probably have more to bring to the table on how maybe that stigma maybe hurts kids as they get older, I'm assuming. Is that the,
Well,
I'm not trying to put words in your
I
mouth.
just don't believe in bad kids. I believe in poor parenting that results
Oh, no, there's some
in
badass kids.
certain.
There's some
bad
badass
kids.
kids, Jada.
No,
There's some
I don't
badass
think so.
kids, Jada. There's some. I've
My
met
parents
great
don't- you know,
parents who had
very
some
loving.
badass kids,
Yeah.
man.
But why were the kids bad?
Because the kids,
They just have
because they
behavioral
children,
issues.
and
It
they
was-
just
it
like
was-
doing things that they ain't supposed to be doing.
But-
They
If I
don't
can
know
get away
any
with
better.
something.
But
you
who
know? Yeah.
has? But who has the power over that?
A parent,
You
obviously.
can't control what a kid does to a certain extent, though. I've
Yeah.
babysat.
You can't, but that's
for
what they
so
try to
many families
do,
that-
and then I think it causes trauma. A
What
lot
about
of trauma.
See, now this is
But
interesting.
what about a family who has two kids with completely opposite personalities and
Seventy-
behavioral issues
Yeah.
that have the same parents?
75%
I mean,
of the
that's
time,
the same thing. I
I
think
was a good
it's
kid, but
Right.
there'd be times when I just, I would get a hair up my ass and want to raise some hell. So, and
But that's normal and natural. That's the thing. I don't think people are educated on the progress.
But you ain't
and
gonna let
the-
your kid go out in public and just act a damn fool and then not let them have any consequences for behavior.
But most
Like
of the
Justin just-
time, if they are acting a fool, it's because they've been neglected in some way or they're not having certain needs met.
Mom.
I
And
was
there's
with my
studies to
family all the
prove it.
time. I was,
I was a badass.
But if we
kid, man.
dissect it, were your parents home? Were they working all of the time? Who were you around most of the time? There's
but
certain
I don't know.
needs.
But I don't necessarily think I have to put that on the parent. Like, I don't understand what a parent is supposed. So if a parent works a 9 to 5, kids get off school at 2:00.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so now it's the parents' fault between those 3 hours. Those kids do kid stuff.
It's not the fault of the parents; it's the fault of the system, like we were talking about. Like
But my thing is, like, so what is? I mean, if you are an independent working woman who's raising a family and your job has you at work to 6:00, like now you're saying that you being the independent feminist woman that you are, making the moves all on your own, the system now isn't allowing you to properly take care of your kids because between a 3 to 4 hour span that you aren't around them, that they do kids things, that you're responsible for that?
No, I wouldn't put it like that.
Okay.
I just think there is something that our culture nurtures, some kind of disconnection, detachment, and that starts, and I've talked about this before, as soon as a child is born, they are pulled out of their mother's arms and put into an incubator or they're put into
Right.
a separate room. And then that continues through life. And so this whole thing of like abandonment issues or attachment issues, that isn't some like folklore.
Right.
That comes from a bigger issue. And when people aren't having community or connection or attention in the way they need it. And I'm not saying like this ridiculous amount of attention whenever you're being like bought things or you're being spoiled, but I just mean
Right.
like sitting down and having conversation or sitting down and having quality time, right?
Right.
People act out. It's the same thing like if your partner was gone for an extended period of time, not talking to you.
Right.
How would that affect you?
I can see that on
Right?
maybe an adult level, but my thing is, as a child, you aren't that mentally developed to the point to where you even what you're doing,
Right,
you don't
you're
even
in-
recognize whether or not it's right or wrong. So once a parent illustrates to a child, hey man, don't do that. And they explain to that child, hey man, this is why you don't do that. And this is what can happen when you do that. And then 9 out of 10 times that child's gonna be like, I know the information in front of me.
No, but they
I know
don't.
that's not right
That's
to do.
the-
But
that's
you wanna
the
do it.
misunderstanding.
3 meals.
No.
My mom gave me a hug and tucked me into bed. But
That's
guess what
the
I'm gonna do?
misunderstanding.
I'm going to go do it again.
No, the human brain is not fully developed until the age of 25, and there are studies that prove the difference in hormones and how they affect the brain. It affects, like, the brain changes consistently over a lifetime, and the way in which you can retain information and retain understanding of what is right and wrong is very, very different over the course of a lifetime. It also depends on socioeconomic status. It depends on genetics. It depends on the, like, what kind of food the child is consuming. Like, all of these factors are taken into consideration. So sure, you may believe as an adult that the kid knows right from wrong, but they don't know because they have not developed that same cognitive understanding.
Man,
So that's wrong.
I'm going to tell you that right now.
I don't know. There's some kids that do some.
There's some
bad
kids
shit
that do some
know
OC
that they aren't
shit.
supposed
And look,
to.
and this is coming from
I want you all to have kids and then get back to me.
No,
How
but
about that?
I will say this. I would go as far as I would say most parents will say, no, I am in my child's life frequently. I might make sure my child has
But are
the
they
best.
listening to their child?
I would imagine most parents are. I think the idea that a child is bad because of parents' neglect, that's a stretch for me to say, because I've known of many instances where parents have been in a child's life, 2-parent households.
And the kids just a shit.
And the kids are shit. And they're kids who they know that what they can get away with. They know that I've been in rooms with parents who are just open with their conversation. When I
that's
say
the thing,
open, I'm
like-
talking like with my mom and dad, like there are certain things that I just knew I couldn't talk about. Like I wasn't going, at least not to a certain point in my life. I wasn't talking sex and girls and anything, alcohol and things related to my parents. But I knew well enough that even at a young age that, man, my mama don't want to see me drinking. My mama don't want to see me out in these streets. My mama don't want to see me. Like I knew well enough that when I got to a certain point in my life where I was like, that's going to hurt my mom. That's going to hurt my dad. That's going to hurt my family. That's going to hurt my siblings. And while I may want to do it, while I may get a small bit of benefit out of it, I know it's wrong and I know it's going to hurt people I love and care. I think a lot of children understand that. I think a lot of children are raised that way. And I think there are still a lot of children who are like, fuck it, I'm going to go do it
kids
anyway.
are a lot smarter than a lot of people give them credit for, honestly.
I agree. And then look, like now when it comes down to punishment, how you do it, how you delve out quote unquote punishment, like I said, I think that's a topic for another day. But I do think there are children who do, and my thing is, I guess my argument is you have to be a perfect parent in order for you to have a perfect child.
No, not at all.
So there are parents out there who do everything that you're saying that they do, and there are children who still are not well behaved.
Just think about this. I think, like Carlie said, that children are more intelligent than we give them credit for.
I know that.
However, we try to control and manipulate and tell children what to do without taking that into consideration, right?
Sure.
So sometimes that control and manipulation turns into abuse, which I think is
That's
unnecessary,
absolutely-
right?
sure, I can turn
In some
into that.
situations, because if you really listen to the kid, if you observe the kid, if you see what's going on with the kid, chances are you're going to be able to read what their needs are, whether it is being around them more. Maybe if the kid needs to be alone more often. Maybe the kid has no desire to be around you as the parent and wants to be around grandma all of the time.
Right.
But what I'm saying is we as a society, we do not take the time that I think that should be allotted to us to maybe observe our children
Here's
more
what I
and
think we should
actually
do.
connect with them.
I think you make some good points. Here's what I think we should do. We should all, for at least a month, go adopt a child. All right? Let's just go ahead and
My
sign
credit
up.
history.
I
won't let me
love
do
It's
that.
pretty easy. Let's just go
I want a
adopt a
black
child
one.
for a month. Lucky. I'm getting an Asian one.
Okay.
I'm getting an Asian one.
Me and
Cool.
my wife want an Asian one.
You getting an
We
Asian one?
complete
too?
the
All right,
trifecta.
which one are you getting? Jada?
Me?
What child are you
Yeah.
adopting? Just for
Which
30
Well,
flavor?
that's the thing. Like,
It's a trial-free period, so we can bring it back.
I don't know. I'm not going to have kids, but I love kids. And I feel like one will just find me and I'll be like, what do you need that you are not getting in your past
No, I think
a relationship?
No, that makes sense. Now, like I said, I would want to obviously have kids because I think kids are fun. Now, right now in my
maybe.
life, like I think kids are fun. I really do think kids are fun. As far as the raising thing, I'm not mentally there because to Jada's point, she's right. You do need to be involved, and you want to be as involved as a parent. And obviously, you have things in your current life that you want to be able to accomplish as well. So it's finding, of course, the right balance. But I think kids would be fun to have, only just for the simple fact that I just like. And here's where I am. I don't like all my friends have like their own little they have wives now. And it's annoying. They're like, I'm going to go spend time with the love of my life. Yeah, that too. That's fine. But I think having a mini-me, like Carlie just said,
my gosh,
that'd be
so
much
cool.
fun. Like, yo, let's do stuff. And like,
Screaming out, it's racist as hell.
yes. Oh, you know how cool that would be to have a
Like,
daughter
you
that
look
yells
just
that.
like me.
Oh, I would love to have a daughter just be like, that's racist as hell.
And yelling out,
I'm like, that's right, Travina. That is very true.
Travina.
Yeah, I decided that's the name I'm going to go
Travava.
with. Yeah, so there's our
Vina.
parenting discussion for people in here with no children, telling you how to raise your child. That's right, here on We Are Live. Hey, it's been a fun week already. Here it is, Wednesday. It's hot as the dickens inside of our studio right now. We call it an audible today, and that's why we have the crew that we have in here, and that's why we're also recording on
And we
Hampton.
fired Chris.
Yeah, we decided to fire Chris, i.e. send
And
Chris
murder
out to
Jeff,
go collect
so-
some money. And
Murder
then they
Jeff.
decided to, Carlie needs to put her name on that one. She's the one that actually murdered Jeff.
Yeah.
You've been wanting to do that for a
I
while,
know.
though.
I'm over it.
Those dirty looks you give him during the show.
I will.
He's on his computer, and you're just like giving him those arrow eyes. I'm like, she hates that son of a bitch.
So outside of obviously finding new ways to punish children, the children we do not have, what's big in the States these days, everyone's obviously talking about the flooding down in Texas and Houston specifically. I'm just curious more so, not necessarily what's going on in Houston, but what could potentially happen in our own lives. I talked about this a little bit on our radio show today, but we just never know how we're going to respond until we're actually in those situations.
Totally.
And hell, we live on a damn floodplain here in St. Louis, so we could have one of these events at any given moment's
Really?
notice throughout
Yeah,
the
it
year.
could get
Oh,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get real
It gets
bad
really
in the
bad in
city
rural
and-
parts and even parts
Yeah.
of the city of St. Louis when it gets serious. But my question is, do you guys have a game plan or an idea as to what you're going to do in the event of a weather crisis?
Oh my
Whether it be a
God.
tornado or it could be flooding or a major thunderstorm. Do you guys have any ideas of what you're going to do or what your first thing would be in the event if you're anywhere, say in the city of St. Louis, and then torrential downpour, flash flooding, and you're stuck somewhere?
I'll probably have Alex MacGyver a helicopter out of Tupperware so that we can just
And you'll
get
be
out
So you're
like
just
John
calling-
Denver of the
so you're
area.
just
I'm gonna
We'll
call
just
Dad.
fly your plane.
So you're just calling dad no matter what.
Call my dad. Yeah.
That's the first thing you do,
Yep.
calling pops. That's a smart move. What are you doing, Justin?
taking care of the wife, making sure she's
So you're calling
safe.
the wife the first thing. Do you guys
Well,
have
I'm
a ride?
racing toward the house, you know.
Oh, so you're going to go anywhere,
yeah,
wherever she is.
yeah, I don't give
even
a
if it
damn.
requires driving over floodplain.
Yeah.
Like you're going to try to get there.
I can swim, so
Damn! I hope baby girl listening to
Yeah,
this. Look at
boy.
no, she doesn't listen to none of this.
Oh, okay. Smart woman. Smart woman. I honest to God, when I was looking at what's going down in Houston, I have no plan. Like I'm thinking, like if that were to
retreat
happen,
to
and I'm
Joel
here-
Osteen's church.
Well, that's the thing.
No, there is a church here that is friends with Olstein. His name's like David, like Duke or something.
No,
like
that's
that.
not David Duke. He's the head of the
hold
clan.
on.
For the love
Hold
of
on.
Christ, I hope there's no church here.
I just
that
had his
is
house
of
up
David
on.
Duke.
On
I'm like, yeah,
I
that's,
texted you.
I like how he just goes to David Duke, the head of the clan, as the
David
person.
Crank.
Thank
He
you.
is the-
Thank you,
What
Mr.
a
Crank. We do
name.
apologize.
No, this is this guy's house. He's a pastor here at Faith Church. This is his house as we speak right now.
So there's a mega mansion.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
guy
go
at her
there.
church.
An
No
asshole.
surprise
Yeah,
there.
right there.
But my question is, I
beautiful.
don't think I just thought I really don't. And here's what I'm
Exactly.
thinking. I think my parents are okay with like not leaving me on my own, but my parents are going to be like, he'll figure it out. Like I kind of feel like my mom would be like, he'll figure it out, which is true. At the same time, I don't think we have. Do I need to get a rendezvous point? Do I need to arrange that
Maybe.
now?
My folks worry about my two brothers. They're 29 and 24.
Okay.
Me, they think I could live in the woods for. I hate camping.
Well, they
but
trained you to be that, right?
I could run through the woods like
Right.
a wild man with a knife between my teeth.
Oh.
I hate camping, but if I had to, I would Mad Max this life.
See, I don't
like
have
no
that,
other.
and I'm
If
worried
I had
because I
to.
feel like
I
I
believe
need to
that.
get that. Like after watching The Walking Dead and every possible scenario for End of the World, like I feel like I need to
screwed.
get that. I know that's what I'm saying. Like like artists are, I think, like the first people to go when catastrophes, and we're all artists in here. So now I'm worried. Outside of
And
Justin,
phone lines are
apparently.
probably
Well, my
gonna be
wife-
down, so
That's what I'm
how can I
saying.
even call? I can't call
That's what I'm
anybody.
saying. So then, what do we do? Are we going to ransack this Taco Bell across
And
the
I
street?
can't
from
get anywhere without a GPS, so I'm.
Exactly. So I'm thinking.
So I'm screwed.
So I'm thinking schools should probably, and maybe local community colleges should start offering these classes for free. Like, because I
Survival
think it's
classes?
going.
So there's colleges that
Like
offer
Tom
survival
Brown's
classes.
survival classes.
Yeah, I need that. Like I'm seeing people coming up with their own. People are making boats out of things in Houston, and I'm like, I wouldn't have made a boat.
Just keep
out of
watching
that.
Game of Thrones. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's
Schools
gonna
need to
magicians and dragons.
That'll teach you how to survive.
along with having classes in high school that teach you how to like build a resume and do your taxes and stuff. They need like
Yes.
they
Yes.
need the classes for
They have
basic
mechanics
survival
classes,
of life.
you know. and-
They
We
have
need
those.
that. Like, we're at the point where I think we're all under the idea that we may have a 5 to 10 year window left on this planet.
Oh,
The
no.
way things are going.
No.
we don't have to worry about nothing. It's,
People have
it's
been-
40,
have
50
you-
years from now.
People have been tracking disasters consistently
The world's supposed to end.
forever. And just like anything else, like the planet has times whenever they go through huge natural disasters and times when it doesn't. And I forget what it's called. Like they can tell by looking at icebergs. Like they'll take a huge chunk
Right.
of ice and then they'll be able to track the weather. And then by tracking the weather, they're able to see like when global warming was happening
Right.
and then when it was, I don't know.
I just
There's
feel
ways.
like, I don't know, man.
to
I just
track
like, and
it.
even if it isn't a world cataclysmic event, just in general, living here in Missouri, like there are tornadoes, there are
That's
floods. And I would wonder, even if we were to go to
Knife
LA,
fights.
like we go to LA, we have to prepare for earthquakes. Go to New York, you have to prepare for everything. So I just wonder, am I at this point in my life, even though I don't have a wife or a kid, that I need to probably start planning like emergency outs?
Totally.
So let's get together as a group every weekend and discuss our emergency outs.
Sounds good.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
And basically, I just want to
This
know
is
where
the
you guys
first
are.
meeting
Can we bring-
of the
can
Natural
we bring
Disaster
snacks?
Committee.
You can bring snacks to
Okay.
it.
I'm
Just be
in.
prepared, though. If this world goes to hell, I hope you guys don't mind eating soup out of a can.
Jeff is gonna make us homemade soup
Thank
every
you,
day.
Jeff. is
Yeah,
going to
well,
provide
there's only a
homemade soup.
certain amount of utilities we're going to have.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I
Yeah.
don't think I survive these.
Let me tell you
events.
something.
Yeah, you would.
I like my fried chicken. You
I
know,
love fried
Banquet
chicken,
fried
man.
chicken. You know, the box
I
frozen
can't
stuff.
have that at the
Let me
World
tell you
Cake
something.
Food
You
Inn, I
throw
can't
that
eat
in the
that.
sun for 10 minutes, it's thawed out. It's like eating cold chicken.
See, now that's another thing.
I used to
When
do it
I
in
see
Chicago
these
all the time.
Survivor films, like, have you seen the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane?
No.
Yeah,
It's
oh,
with
yeah,
John
yeah.
Goodman. It's very
Oh,
good.
no, no,
I
no, I
like
saw the first
him.
one.
Okay,
No.
this one. So it's still.
Is it
based-
like The Big Lebowski? But
No, it's not.
no.
but John Goodman's in it, so that means
Every
it's going to
movie's
be.
like The Big
Exactly, yeah,
Lebowski
every
with John
movie John
Goodman.
Goodman's in
I
The
always
Big
think of King
Lebowski.
Ralph when I see
Yes,
John Goodman.
I do as well. I think of Babe Ruth story.
Oh, yeah, the
actually.
Babe.
He was
Yeah.
the Babe. Of course.
Oh, man, he's
I
so
honestly,
good.
Like in that film, he's a survivalist and he's crazy, but there is a twist in the end where him being paranoid and crazy is legitimately justified.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying every kook that has a basement that they're planning for the end of the world is reputable, but I feel like I'm either going to have to go slightly crazy or trust someone crazy like.
I'm going to have to lose my mind.
So I don't know. I'm afraid. I'm legitimately afraid.
What is your biggest fear in a natural disaster? Like, what would be the disaster of all disasters for you?
Anything water related, it's going to
Rape.
be trouble
Really?
for me. Water related, it's going to be big. So yeah,
Carlie
I
said
can see-
rape.
Now
Yeah.
Carlie's now that would,
That's real.
That I think so. You're basing
is
off
real as fuck.
human. Yeah, I think the reaction to
The stress.
everyone to the stress and the finality of an event would be a major concern, because people right now, in a day and age where things are bad but they're not end of the world bad, at least at the very moment, and people are nuts. So if you were to say, hey, ain't no more rules, ain't no more law, it's just a
Yep.
free-for-all, along Carlie's lines, that would be a major fear of mine. Like other people.
People just doing crazy shit just in the snap. Literally,
Yeah.
somebody,
No, you're right.
some like 50-something-year-old man the other day like beheaded his his mother, who's like this old lady, beheaded her because she changed the channel when he was watching Cool Runnings.
Exactly.
How? With what weapon?
I don't. It was an article.
But I think
I don't know, but it was just like that.
Now,
like people
outside
are
of water,
crazy.
That would be my probably greatest fear, because I think just the way that everyone
Jeez.
reacts in general, like you've seen people in a panic.
Yeah.
You've been in a room where people panic, and you know if that was a serious life or death situation, you know that, oh shit, this is how people are going to go down because the 4 panicking idiots in the room right now. And so that would also be like, even if you don't follow Walking Dead, let me just go ahead and tell you, the last few seasons deals with people who are essentially like, it's me or you, and I'm going to do whatever ridiculous, crazy, sadistic thing to make sure it's me. And so that will worry me. What about you?
Oh my gosh, I'm just so scared. Right, like I'm thinking about it. Like,
Yeah,
where would I go? What would I do?
We're going to scare the shit out of people from having kids.
Yeah,
and the end of the world in this one pod. What else would you be afraid of?
I would thrive, I think, because my fears are already existent now with all my life.
Live with anxiety your entire life.
If the end of the world came, I'd be like, I don't have any more debt, and I'm like, let's rock.
Look at the positives.
Yeah.
Now, on that hand, but I was thinking about that actually. That's funny that you
he
bring
would
that
just
up.
turn into a mountain
Because
man.
because that's that. But when you think about it in that regard, I have been thinking about life in general in that regard, because I've wondered, because I feel like at its truest, that's probably the proper way to quote unquote live. If the burdens of the world that we've decided to ultimately place on ourselves, whether it be student loan debt, whether it be credit card debt, whether it be rent and bills and cell phones and car notes and gas, if we remove those, if we lived in a society where those weren't pertinent anymore, how would we behave?
Right.
And I now that has always made me very curious. If we lived in a world where we weren't incumbent to those things, how it would react? Because I think we're essentially behaving the way that we behave because of those constraints. Am I right? So I would be curious to see how I would respond in a world where that no longer exists, for better or for worse. I would like to think that I would respond positively to that, but then again, art imitates life, and if we've seen anything out of these end of the world films, is that people don't behave well.
No, whatsoever. There's already they're talking about looting going on and down the Texas.
When these crises happen, you're going to see looting. You're going to see people doing what they think they need to do to survive,
and then they're not. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say along those lines. I think I know where you're going, and that's what got to a conversation we discussed on the morning show, and we can regurgitate that here now. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I'm not going to sit up here and say, with the looting that is going on that we saw in New Orleans, that we're probably seeing right now in Houston, I can't sit up here and always point my finger. Yes, there are people who are doing it just because they can, and then there are people who are doing it because they have 4 children waiting in
That's what I understand.
Floating tube a few miles away that need to eat, and they are not going to be rescued for another 8 to 12 hours.
Oh yeah.
So I can't sit up here and say what I would do or what those people should do. I think in those situations, you can hate looting, you can hate rioting, until you've gone through where a lot of those people go through. I'm not in a position to judge. I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about that situation. When you see people in those type of situations, like when I saw it in New Orleans, or I saw the looting and rioting in Ferguson, when I saw those things, I agree. I think there are people who are out there who are doing it for the wrong reasons, who are just doing it because they can, and those are the shitty people that are part of society in general. But then I think there are instances, what we're seeing
certain
in Houston,
cases that can be justified.
That can be justified. I think there is probably a mother or father that have raided a grocery store in Houston because they don't know when that next meal is going to come.
Yeah.
That's real.
So that's my only thing when it comes to those type of situations, and that's why I've of late have been asking myself these questions, because again, it's easy for me sitting on dry fucking land inside of a studio to say, man, I would have gotten out of town, I would have got my family far, far away. Honestly, I'll be real with you, my family doesn't have a go plan. We don't. I'm sure we probably should, but I think if you ask anyone on the streets right now, your biggest concern right now is, one, getting to the end of the week, when that next paycheck is going to come, how I'm going to pay my cell phone bill, how I'm going to pay my rent, I'm going to make sure my kids' tuition is taken care of. And I can assure you, when it comes to what is your exit strategy in the event of a natural crisis, I think that's probably number 88 or 89 on most people's list, if we're being 100 about it. Doesn't matter your socioeconomic income, your race. I think most people just don't think about it.
No.
It's a
I
Not
can't
at
think of a
all.
situation in which I would. Well, boys and girls, this has been a fun pod.
Yeah.
It went fast.
This has gone
It was like
fast.
kind of negative, but like not totally.
It
like,
was pretty
no.
dark.
It was
at one
real.
point,
I think it's
but
it got real.
educational.
It was slightly scary. We don't have to end on anything dark. In fact, let's do this.
What?
Because I watched it this week with my younger sister.
What?
The
was it?
VMAs. I watched the Video Music
It's
Awards.
not like it
Now,
used to be.
No, it's not.
I have
Now,
not
we're all-
watched it in 10 years.
Now,
probably.
Carlie, you just turned 27.
I did.
Happy birthday, baby
Thank
girl.
you. Thank
Justin,
you, baby.
you
I'll
are
be 33 Tuesday.
33 this Tuesday. Look at
Yeah.
you. Jada, you are a young 19 years old. And so, no, I think where we are in our lives, obviously MTV doesn't mean as it did when we were younger, but I still find myself watching it because
watch it.
I guess I'm still in that window.
There's so
where
many people you didn't recognize,
There's
right?
a ton of people I didn't recognize. But here was the beautiful thing about the VMAs this year. There were a lot of artists I didn't recognize, but there are a lot of artists that I really started to like and
Yeah.
love because I heard them for the first time. And I was like, okay, I can get down with this. I
Right.
enjoyed the VMAs. I watched it with my 19-year-old sister, and I enjoyed the hell out of it because I learned about a lot of artists. And you hear a song sometimes coming and going. You'll hear it maybe in a movie trailer or you'll hear it on TV and you don't think much of it, but you're like, hey, that's a nice little ditty. And then you see the artist on VMA and you go, oh, it's that kid. He's 14 years old and he sings like he's Luther Vandross. I like it. So it was a treat for me to watch the VMAs this week. I enjoyed, I don't know, I don't know whether MTV were conscientious about being more about the music for their award show, but I think they had like 14 to 16 live performances
Wow.
of just really good music. I was surprised.
That's exciting.
Do you guys still keep up on the young
no.
music?
I try to, but I'm so
What are
much
you
more
listening to these days?
interested. So I love, what was I listening to?
This is nice Guatemalan band.
I don't know.
It's like it's like South American rap. And it also
Well,
like, but they talk about feminist issues.
So this is what's
Gaelic.
tricky.
I
heard
My
them when I was
go-to,
in Japan.
Gaelic whale sounds.
my go-to is always Missy Elliott. Like
Oh my God, I love Missy Elliott.
1,000%. Like my next tattoo is going to be a cinnamon bun on my ass that says "Give me some of this cinnabon." Like that's like I'm
Please
devoted to
don't
her.
get that tattoo.
No, it's
but
not
I
going to happen.
appreciate your
But that's how much I love her. So going to her, I think her last single that she put out
Right.
was super, super fun. So I'll like always default to her. But as far as like really, really new stuff, I don't know if I could tell you names of like new artists.
Yeah, the name thing still catch. Now I learned this new kid. His name is Shawn Mendes.
Yeah.
And I know he's had a few songs out before, but he jammed his ass
Did
off
he?
at the
He
VMAs.
good.
And I am hip. And it's so funny because obviously I have younger sisters and they're looking at me like, you're old and dusty. What the hell do you know about our music? And they're right.
Get the
But-
cobwebs out of you.
and I do have them, but I was wildly surprised by how good some of this music is.
I got
Wow.
excited when I saw a tweet by Keith Richards saying in the studio, and it shows a pack of cigarettes on an amp, and I'm like, oh, new album, 20. You know, they'll be dead by the time it comes out.
I love when like the legends drop
Yeah.
things. I love when Jay-Z, when they're Stones. I love when they drop. But I am enjoying this new. It's weird. I
I
don't
can't
know.
get into the new stuff.
I love
Right.
It's too reality based.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like,
And I think a lot of it is obviously based for a particular market of
Yeah.
people. But I was jamming my little, and I think I'm at the like dad bod phase and the dad dance phase and the dad jean phase. So now I'm like, how immersed can I be in some of this music, or I'll look like a dork?
Yeah.
I don't want to like a dork. I don't want to be like Carlie at the 2 Chainz concert and just being like,
Oh my
yo, this
gosh,
is hip.
2 Chainz.
Yeah, it
And
was
I'm
lit.
down with it, OPP. How was the 2 Chainz? Carlie attended a 2
T-Pain,
Chainz
right?
concert
2
here
Chainz.
in
It was
St.
fun. It
Louis.
was-
How was it?
it was
He's in
fun.
a wheelchair.
It was funny. It was a fun concert.
Did you?
It didn't get as buck wild as like you would think.
It was a Tuesday night rap concert.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
That is very funny.
was funny.
Well, I think I'm obviously telling myself I love rap concerts. I think they're the
I
greatest
love
thing
the
on
rap
earth. I love the rap concerts. No,
Did you all go see Chance the Rapper when he was
I
here?
missed Chance. I did not get a chance to see Chance
No,
the
I saw him
Rapper.
at Bonner, though.
I like Chance the Rapper. I don't know how much I would love a live show of Chance the Rapper, but I like him as an artist.
Yeah.
I want to see. I will find a way, whether I have to kidnap and sell a child to see Bruno Mars
Yeah.
before the year is over with. I think that's the only concert I think that's on my absolute to-do list.
Just
before
put it
the
on your
year's over
vision
with.
board.
Yeah, it's on my vision board and on my. If I have a sugar mama, I'm going to ask her to buy that first.
I would see T-Pain in a heartbeat.
You would see T-Pain in concert.
I don't know why, but when his shit comes on, I'm like, let's go punch a cop.
You know what my favorite thing about? Well, please, God, no, don't go punch a cop.
No,
especially because of T-Pain. But here's the fun fact about T-Pain. He can really sing.
Yes.
T-Pain's an amazing voice.
I agree.
He's very talented. I love T-Pain. I don't. Again, I've never been to a T-Pain concert, but I would imagine it was off the rip. Can I say off the rip, Carly?
Yeah, just go
He
ahead.
did with not Cool. Snoop Dogg, and there's like 6 different people.
Now Snoop Dogg will be in St. Louis in a week. He'll be, of course, at Lou Fest.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that, and here's why: because Snoop Dogg.
I got it, Mike.
I feel like Snoop Dogg gets it as an artist. Like, I love artists that want to take risk. Like, even everyone's like, they'll point to certain albums of a particular artist and go, I don't like that. And I'll go, no, I love the risk they took. They knew that it went against everything they normally do. They decided to put it out there for their fans. They knew their fans may not like it or even love it for that matter. But I'm going to do it. I like that out of my artists. Even if you fall on your face, I love that you take risks. So I like Snoop because he takes risks. Snoop lying face, absolutely silly. Most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I will say, though, props to Snoop for having the cojones to do it.
What about Coolio? What if Snoop and Coolio?
We don't.
Coolio's an asshole.
Yeah, I don't need Coolio. I think
he's
need
on.
Coolio.
Coolio has been. He's honestly a jerk. He was supposed to perform at the FedEx Forum at halftime of a Grizzlies game, and he was just like out back, like smoking weed, like whenever
and
he was supposed to go
perform?
on, and then he didn't perform, and we were like, yeah, halftime's over, because they were looking for him everywhere.
Are you serious?
And then he sent out a tweet, like talking shit about the FedEx Forum and all that.
Wow, so he
like
literally
saying
was
it was
booked
like
for a halftime show.
Yeah,
he got paid for it, and that's why he already got paid probably. And that's why he
that
didn't do
isn't.
it.
That's the craziest I've ever heard.
Rude as hell.
Listen here, Coolio. I know you're a huge listener to St. Louis Live, and we are live.
He might want to be a guest.
We're going to reach out to you, Coolio. We're going to get to the bottom of this.
Get it together, babe.
That's unbelievable. Well, that's also another sad thing to end on. Terribleness from Coolio.
Let's end on
Taylor
a happy
Swift
note.
sucks.
I like the song. All I want to do is win.
See,
that's
now,
my song.
Now
there we go.
Now you're being a dad. Now
that
you're
is
really
my.
being
all I want to do is win.
All I want to do is win.
When I get some crown in me, I will.
Okay, now Justin, now you're
fucking move to that
You
song.
can't be square. We only have one square.
I don't give a
person on
shit.
here,
That
it's
song
me.
is ludicrous.
He's getting really riled up.
He's getting pretty excited. That's what the hip hop does. All right,
right.
Jada, we need a positive note.
positive.
You are our positive gem.
What is everyone doing this weekend?
Ooh.
One thing that you're looking forward to this weekend.
Hanging out with Travis.
Yes. My one thing this weekend will likely involve a lot of alcohol. So I'm looking forward to that.
Happy.
No, it's Labor Day weekend. So I really am, and again, I really sound like a shaman, I think, at this point in my life. But
I'll take it.
I enjoy doing fun shit. Like my goal, especially when the weekend comes.
Going to 2 Chainz. I made myself go.
Yeah, and I had to do that with a concert earlier this year. I did that as well. There are things that we get so busy, and rightfully so. We're extremely ambitious, all of us. We really are getting after it. When you get so busy, you get exhausted, and a lot of times you don't want to do those fun things.
Right.
But I have made an effort especially on weekends, to do fun shit, and I have the most fun when I'm with family and friends.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like I really do. And I even with my younger sister, who does cool things and doesn't even like me around half the time, she at least puts up with me and has me around, and I get
She
so much
loves
fun out of that.
you.
I do. So I
Yeah.
really am just looking forward. Carly and I are going to probably hang out this Labor Day weekend. We're going to get drunk and be stupid.
Nice.
Honestly, we don't have any
Get
plans. I just want to enjoy
stupid.
people's company.
I love that. What about you, Justin?
I got a 3-day weekend. So,
Really?
I'm probably gonna sleep in and get a brunch somewhere real
Nice.
late.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Plate of breakfast.
Yeah.
Treat yourself.
Pancakes, waffles, eggs, all that good shit.
Jada, what about
Yeah. Alex and I are running a 5K.
you?
There you go.
Yeah. So it's gonna be super fun. And then
You know someone enthusiastic about that.
me?
Yeah, it sounds like you're
I
still
don't like to go in the
wondering-
sun.
Ah.
So that's the only thing I don't like about
You're
it.
gonna
But
go run a
otherwise,
5K? Was
Wear
it
your
3
sun
miles?
hat over there
I
while
didn't
you're
go to-
running.
I went to
Yeah.
public
What?
school.
Wear that big sun hat you got over there
I
while
know,
you're
but
running.
well, it flies off my head whenever I
okay.
run.
So
it
5K,
doesn't work.
5K, 3 miles, right?
No,
I
3.2
don't know.
miles.
Okay, I just wasn't good at the math. I just wanted to.
That's
make
okay.
sure.
But we're
So
probably
that's
gonna
not
walk
bad.
it, or we'll walk run it.
Oh, that is so
Yeah.
sweet for a
Yeah.
couple to do
I
together.
don't like running.
Yeah,
Except
I don't like.
away from my problem.
Well, as
Aw. We're trying to keep this in a high note, and
oh yeah, I keep bringing it down.
yeah, so we're all gonna do something positive where we're gonna have fun doing it.
Yeah.
And on that note, we can officially end today's podcast here on We Are Live. A special thank you always to my lovely co-hosts Justin, Carlie, and Jada. For Chris, Jeff Jones, and of course our lovely
Rest in
Michael
peace.
Gaines, who are not present today. I am Travis Terrell. This is We Are Live. We'll catch you guys next time. Make sure you download, you subscribe, and tell your friends, and support the sponsors that support us. We'll talk to you guys later.